You asked earlier, like, what's special about this place? Well, it's probably one of the best private recreational land areas in the area. And I would hope that whoever acquires it really enjoys the recreation and ability that this has. And if you're here, you have to appreciate, like I said, the wonders of creation that we have here. So the farm is about 1,300 acres in Johnson County. There's approximately 250 acres in CRP. There's probably 500 acres of woods, and the rest is farm ground. Vienna's about 3.5 miles away. The town of Marion, probably 20, 25 minutes. Paducah's 45 minutes away. Of course, we have Ferncliff State Park, which is just between here and Goreville, which is less than 10 minutes away. And then we have Garden of the Gods and Lake Glendale, Bill Smith Springs that are, 30, 40 minutes away as well. So we have a lot of, natural beauty around us with some state parks. Paul was born in 1928 over at the Shady Brook Place. Now, his mom and dad owned the place before that. So some of the ground, goes back probably more than 100 years. The diversity of the landscape here obviously is tremendous, especially for the wildlife. Wildlife habitat was one of the things that he always tried to maintain. In fact, there were areas that we weren't allowed to hunt because that was his refuge. And anything that got in there could stay. We were never allowed to even walk through it. I think just the fact that he invited the wildlife to have a habitat, he helped create that habitat. So that's one of the things that makes it special. And again, like I said, the diversity of the landscape where you have cropland, woods, bluff. As far as the timber, Paul had timber cut in the early 80s. To my knowledge, other than just some select cuts here and there, there's never been any mass timber cutting since then. Paul always wanted to wait for the maximum growth, but there is predominantly white oak is what the best hardwood that we have here on the farm is. The main water feature is Dutchman Creek, which meanders through the farm. There's two main ponds that are about 3.5 acres each. And the ponds are all stocked, with bluegill and catfish and crappie and bass. A number of really large deer, as the photos will attest over the years, harvested here on the farm. Since probably the mid-90s up until last year, to my knowledge, there has not been a year when there hasn't been at least 2 or 3 deer like what you see on the wall there that have been harvested here. Because of the habitat, there's a lot of places for them to go and not be seen. For at least for the last 30 years, they've been harvesting deer like this every year. The farm was everything to Paul. He had more than one opportunity to sell the farm back in the day, and he was born here and he wanted to be able to die here. He wanted to be able to live his entire life here. Paul always said that he was on vacation his entire life because he never had to work for anybody else. He always got to work for himself his entire life. If somebody buys the entire farm, they're getting the cropland, they're getting the woods, the timber, the bluffland, but they also are getting, they'll have their own lifetime of experiences and memories on a place like this. The good times, the bad times, the sweat, what it takes to keep a place like this and to keep it functional. They'll be able to enjoy what we've enjoyed, which is nature at its best.
As you just heard from the owner himself, a about the long history of Tall Tree Farms. I'm just extremely humbled and proud to present this unique property to you. This farm has literally been in the Fairless family since the late 1800s. So it's very rare for this to even come to market. It'll be the first time in generations that this has been available to the public. And what I really like about this property is it has the longest standing history from a deer and turkey hunting standpoint of any property that Whitetail Properties has ever brought to the market in Southern Illinois. This is truly a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to own a part of deep history in Johnson County, Illinois. We'd love to see you out live at the auction. You can also bid online at ranchandfarmauctions.com, or you can call us on the telephone the day of the auction.